Hey boys and girls, I'm going to make today, recreate this painting that I made. I did part one, the last video, I made the background, and today I'm going to create something similar. Not exact, but something similar. And rather than using paint, I'm going to use a Pitt pen, which kind of acts a little bit like a paintbrush pen. It has kind of an India ink type of quality to it. And when I painted this one, I painted it with India ink, which has kind of a nice super black kind of heavy tone to it. So I'm going to start here by drawing my haunted house. And I'm going to start just drawing direct with my Pitt pen. If you can get your hands on one of these are really great. They're definitely on Amazon, but they could be in a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby type of place. And let's see, I'm going to start by just kind of making a simple shape for my haunted house. A simple kind of roof line, going with the basics here. Can kind of do some kind of interesting shape for my door. Then maybe I've got a window up here. I always like to put circle windows up here. And then I can just kind of build up from there. I think I'm going to do a little kind of extra extended building portion to my house here. Keep in mind too that these Pitt pens sometimes can be a little bit smudgy if you're not careful. So I'm just kind of making whatever, making this kind of fun. And now that I have that, I think I'm going to try to kind of color this in. When I colored it in, I did it with some big brush strokes. So I'm just going to kind of recreate kind of my strokes I did with a paintbrush. I'm not so worried if I get everything colored in. It's kind of the fun look of using the watercolor paper. And kind of go around my windows a little bit. And then I think I'm going to try to use a little bit of a brush technique with my pen for the roof lines. So I'm going to kind of turn it on its side and kind of do like, kind of give it a little texture, like maybe it's the roof shingles are a little bit rough, a little bit textured, a little bit loose. Kind of liked that on the other one. And same thing up here. Okay. Had I drawn this before, I probably could have put in my windows, I could have probably had them glow with yellow, which I really could add a little tempera paint on there later and have them kind of glow in yellow. And then my door, I kind of made I made kind of a heavy, kind of look to it. All right, so I've got that house kind of done. I did add, looks like I'm referring to this. I don't have a good spot for it here, maybe right here. I did kind of put like there's a little flag kind of hanging up there. And maybe I'll put a little spider. Anytime you can add something to make it spooky, I could put another flag someplace else if I wanted. I had a couple of flags on here. Usually flags are floating the same direction because the wind would blow it the same way, but hopefully nobody notices that I'm just going to kind of do something simple on that one. And then let's see, I did draw myself a little witch kind of leaving here. And so I kind of made, I imagine like she'll be about the height of this doorway here or a little shorter. So let's see, I'm going to make her kind of, this is actually her middle. I kind of had her in a long kind of spooky kind of dress that kind of flowed. This is going to be her, kind of her waist. And then I kind of do a little silhouette of her head with some like kind of scraggly hair here kind of coming down. A little profile of maybe kind of a little kind of creepy nose. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to give her a tall witchy hat. It's tall, skinny kind of hat. And then I'll have her hanging on to the walking stick. I think I'm going to have an arm kind of come out here from her shoulders, right under her neck, and then maybe like a long, she's got a sleeve that kind of hangs down like that. And then you don't really have to do a hand on something like this. I'm just going to kind of make a creepy walking stick like that. That looks pretty good. She's walking out there. The other one's a little better with the paint. I used a tiny paintbrush for that, but that kind of works. There we go. Then let's see, next I'm going to do the fence. The fence was kind of cool. I think I'm going to start, this helped make the illusion of space. I'll kind of show you what I mean by that, where you have this really big door, a gate, and then the fence here, it's pretty big, and then you feel the sense of space because the house is back here, and obviously the gate wouldn't be close to the same size as the house. So that gives that feeling of a little bit of space. So I'm thinking I'm going to start with just a straight line going down, and then I kind of made a swoop up and a swoop down. I'm going to try to do the same thing on this side, trying to be symmetrical as best I can. Not perfect, but that's okay. And then let's see, I kind of let this kind of come out and do a little spiral like that. And I did make a big spooky spider up here as part of the decorations. Simple spider there. And then I made the fence look a little bit spidery by kind of drawing some lines. And then I'll kind of do this kind of curvy little maybe put another one there. Like there's something else catching that. Sort of have the symmetry there. Not perfect, but that's okay. And then I'm going to do kind of a showing that this is a gate to a fence, which kind of a post here, post here, post here, and then do kind of another line here. It's kind of a metally fence. And then in the middle here, let's see, these I did some little witches' hats again as a decoration. Kind of skinny. I like the skinny kind of witches' hats. All right. Then I'm going to make another kind of line down the middle here and kind of repeats a design element here, kind of going up, spiraling here. And another one here. And then that kind of acts as a little bit of a place for me to connect doing more spider webs. So I'm going to go all the way to that corner, then up here and up here. And I'm trying to use sort of the thin part of my marker as best I can. This might be a point at which you might want to switch over to a Sharpie. And then this is where you're going to kind of do a little bit more of that little curve for that spidery kind of web kind of look. Yeah, I probably, if I were you, I would switch over to Sharpie. This isn't too bad, but I think it's a little trickier with the Pitt pen. It's a little thick, but it still looks good. And then I made my little dangly spider here. Get those 8 legs on. And do a little extra little spider here too. There we go. And then I just basically repeat that. I might just do, yeah. Give myself some space there. And you can add more to this picture than what I did if you have some good ideas. Some jack-o'-lanterns. I always think a black cat is kind of a nice adder. I haven't added bats yet, but I always love bats in these type of pictures. And I'm just gonna keep, oop, I did it backwards. Well, that'll be interesting. Didn't mean to do that, but I'm rolling with it. Little curves. So no worries if you make any kind of mistakes, you just roll with it. It's one thing I've learned to do, and maybe I'll do this one the same way. I will go this way. This one is going to meet it. It's kind of off off the frame, off the picture a little bit. And then just need some little spiders. And actually, I'm going to switch over to the Sharpie here for his legs. I think that'll be a little bit easier. Oh yeah, a lot easier. And really, the black color of the Sharpie is slightly different, but not much. This is one that, of course, if you're using these pens on a painting, you want this to be like hours and hours dry, if not like a whole day dry, because a damp paper, even if the paper's holding a little moisture, can really be tough on a pen. So then I'm gonna make a little bat here. And this is another way you can kind of show some near and far, just a little bit of space. If you make bats kind of flying that are different sizes, because they're probably not that big of a difference, but if I do another bat like right here, make the body a little bit bigger definitely than that one, and then have him much bigger, that helps with feeling of space. Anytime you can shrink something and kind of give that illusion of near and far, and then maybe even again a tiny little one back here. That helps with it feeling like it's a group that's flying, you know, most forward, you know, in the middle there, and then in the back. And even here, I've got a little space, like I could kind of do myself a kind of a creepy little tree if I wanted to add a little extra here. And the nice thing is, like, it can just kind of run into any of your blacks here, because it's a sort of a silhouette kind of picture. It's okay if you run into something there. And if you draw a tree, you can always add, I don't really have the space for it, maybe a little owl or something sitting in the tree. Let's see if I can figure out a good spot for him. Or an owl sitting up here. Maybe I'm gonna have Little owl. He's sitting up there. And really all I need is a silver Sharpie for some little eyes. I love doing that, putting some silver eyes on oh, I have a silver Sharpie. Let's see if it's working. Oh, it might not be working very well. Let's see. I can get, shoot, it's not working. But a silver Sharpie would be great, or even a white pencil to put in some eyes on your bats, on your spiders, on your owl, even a little glowing eye on your witch here. Hold on, let me grab one. All right, I'm back. That wasn't too long. Do a little glowing eyes. Do a little glowing eye there. Some little glowing eyes there. Just a nice little adder. All these little spiders. The little tiny glowing eye. And that is about it. It's not too far off, too different than this one. This is the original. And this is the new one with the marker. Both look nice. Hope you have fun creating some spooky, a spooky landscape. Hope you can share with me too. I'd love to see what you do.